Welcome back to my channel. How can you look at a number and immediately tell if it can be evenly divided? Nope, we're not using a calculator. We're doing quick division shortcuts. Let's get into it right now.
It's like every day.
You know a number is divisible by 2 when the last digit ends in a multiple of 2. What does that mean? So let's look at this number, for instance, 310. It ends in a 0. So you immediately know that it can be divided by 2. A multiple of 2 are any numbers from 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So if any numbers end in either of these numbers, then they can be divided by 2. So if you had 408, it can be divided by 2. If you had 3,624, it can be divided by 2. You know when a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits are divisible by 3. So for instance, let's take a look at this number, 531. If you add these digits together, 5 plus 3 plus 1, 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And 9 can be divided by 3. So therefore, the number 531, you know, can be divided by 3. 522. Yeah, this can be divided by 3 because when you add the 3 digits, 5 plus 2 is 7 and 2 is 9. That means 522 can be divided by 3. So if the digits, when you add them together, add up to a number that can be divided by 3, then it is divisible by 3. You know a number when a number is divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits can be divided by 4. So if you look at this number, 2,640, the last 2 digits are 40. So 40 can be divided by 4. If you had, 244, these last 2 digits can be divided by 4. Therefore, 244 can be divided by 4. 2,548, right? 48 can be divisible by 4 because 4 can go into 48, 4 can go into 44, 4 can go into 40. So any number where the last 2 digits end in multiple of 4 or 4 can be divided into it, it is divisible by 4. You know when a number is divisible by 5 if it ends in a 5 or a 0. So this number, 9,825, you know 5 can go into it. It can be divided by 5 because it ends in 5. So a 0 or a 5. So if we had 910, it ends in a 0, so you know it can be divided by 5. So any number that ends in a 0 or a 5 can be divided by 5. You know a number can be divided by 6 or is divisible by 6 if it passes the rules for the divisibility of 2 and the divisibility of 3. So divisibility of 2, this number 408 ends in a multiple of 2, right? So remember, the multiples of 2 was 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, right? So this number, ends in an 8, so therefore it passes the divisibility of 2 rule, and the divisibility of 3 is if you add the numbers plus 0 plus 8, add the 3 digits, and if they end in, this is 12. So 12, 3 can be divided into 12. So if the number passes both the divisibility of 2 rule and the divisibility of 3 rule, then it can be divided by 6. You know a number is divisible by 9 when if you add the digits together, 9, it can be divided by 9, right? So let's count. So 7 plus the 2 plus the 9 plus 0, right? 7 plus 2 is 9, and 9 plus 9 is 18, right? So can 18 be divided by 9? Yes. So therefore, the number 7,290 is divisible by 9. So anytime you see a number and you add them together and they equal a number that can be divided by 9, then it is divisible by 9. You know a number can be divided by 10 if it ends in a 0, right? Like the 10 times table, right? 10, 20, 30, 40. Anything that ends in a 0, it can be divided by 10. 9,910, 10 can definitely go in. All right, it's a very quick one, right? So anything that ends in a 0, it can be divided by 10 easily. Let's look at this number 210. And let's go through some of these divisibility rules. If I look at this number, okay, and I ask myself, can 210 be divided by 2? Yes, it can, because it ends in a 0, right? So it's a multiple of 2. So remember 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So yes, 210 can be divided by 2. Can 210 be divided by 3? Yes, because when you add 2 plus 1, it's 3, right? And 3 can be divided by itself, by 3. Okay, good. So it satisfies that. Can 210 be divided by 4? No, it cannot, because the last two digits, when you add them together, are not multiples of 4. So 4 can't go into 10 evenly. So therefore, it is not a multiple of 4. It cannot be divided by 4. Can 210 be divided by 5? Yes, because it ends in a 0. So the divisibility rule for 5 is it either ends in a 0 or 5. This ends in a 0, so yes. Can 210 be divided by 6? Yes, it can. Why? Because it satisfies the rule for 2. It ends in a 0, and it satisfies the rule for 3, because when you add 2 plus 1, it equals 3, which can be divided by 3. So yes, it satisfies 6. Can 210 be divided by 10? Yes, because it ends in a 0. Right? So you can look at a number and you can immediately see if it can be divided by some numbers, just to see if it can, right? So you have to make sure that you follow the divisibility rules, and you can immediately look at a number and say, yes, it can be divided by whatever number is being offered to you. No excuses now. You should be able to look at any number and immediately tell if that number can be evenly divided by any of the numbers that I mentioned in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe with that notification bell so you know every time I upload, which is every Wednesday. And I will see you next time in another math video. Thank you for watching. Class dismissed.